Good morning. How is everybody? This is ColethaAlbert of CYA Administrative Services. I received an email and I wanted to respond to the email via this video. We'll keep all the information confidential, of course, and we'll share my own personal experiences where and when appropriate. Okay, so here we go. These are various situations that will come up for you if you are an executive assistant, okay? Usually, it never will, but it will if people feel like you're not up to the job. And unfortunately, in these days where people hire friends and families and concubines to do the job instead of letting HR do their job, these things, you're more likely to get tested by somebody. But usually they can tell. Very few people that are at the level of executive assistant, you know, when I see a job description that says 1 year experience, I know that that's an entry-level position, and either the HR person or the executive is suspect. So you want to read those job descriptions. That's going to give you a lot of information about what you're working, what you can expect, and if this is something that you want to pursue or not. Okay, so I went through and found a virtual interview for an executive assistant role, and these are interview questions, okay? All right, so here's the first question. If the CEO gave you confidential information, what would you do if another top-level executive asked you about it? In my opinion, this is telling you something about this top-level executive. Number one, they're smarmy. Number two, they're unprofessional. And number three, they don't even have the decency to wait until most everybody else is out of the office to just send his assistant to go through your trash. Which is what a lot of people would do back in the day. They're going to go through your garbage. They're going to check that top drawer in your desk. And they're looking for your notepad or something like that. If you are an executive assistant and an experienced executive assistant, first of all, you're not going to write down no confidential information like that. You're going to definitely have that in an electronic form. And number two, hopefully you are not in one of these global environment offices, but you actually have an office with a door that you can lock. And what I used to do, is I would put my garbage can outside my office so that the cleaning staff, you know, when they came through at night, they never even had to go into my office in order to empty the trash, okay? As an executive assistant, you want to find out, if you're looking for a job, find out if your office is going to be all out in the open, or if it's going to be you're going to have your own office with a door that has a key, you know, that type of thing. These are important things to look for. If you find yourself in an interview, looking at a job, and they have you out in the middle of the floor, that's not an executive assistant role. They're just calling it an executive assistant role, but there's no way that you can keep the executive's information confidential. There's no way that you can keep the executive's information confidential. And either they are looking to get rid of him because they feel like he's smarmy, or he's not going to be with the company that long, so they're not going to be giving him any really confidential information anyway. These are a lot of things that you can pick up. Here, the answer is, with access to your company's most sensitive information, executive assistants must maintain confidentiality and discretion. That's hard to do if they got you out in the middle of the flow. It says, ask this question to find out how a candidate will navigate complex office politics without betraying confidence, engaging in gossip, or making thoughtless comments. What to look for in an answer. Ability to maintain proper confidentiality, comfort level dealing with sensitive information, understanding of the significance of confidentiality in the workplace. Again, if you are interviewing an executive assistant, this is a misnomer, because this is not an entry-level position. It's not an entry-level position. You want someone who has experience. So, yeah. So this says, example, since I don't have the proper authorization to disclose the CEO's information, even to other senior level executives, I will politely and firmly explain that I don't have any information to share with them. Really? For a top level executive to do something like this is unheard of. It is unheard of. Normally, it is a director or some other little pissant person, even another executive assistant, who will try to get information like that. And they go on that list, baby. You gotta keep a list, so that when you have to lay somebody off because the budget is shrinking, because it does that, budgets, they ebb and flow. And when you have to let somebody go, that's the list that you go to. I call it the shrink list. Anyway, what software programs have you used in the past, and how would you describe your computer skills? Again, this is a neophyte question. I'm passing. If someone asks you something like that, you have got to know that this job is not what they say it is. This human resource department is not. They're not up to snuff, honey. How would you deal with an angry person demanding to speak with an unavailable executive? Again, consider the job, consider the company. What person is going to be demanding to speak with an unavailable executive? A manager? Yeah. A supervisor? Yeah. An executive? Hell no. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You don't even entertain stuff like that. Not at all. Okay. What are your strategies for managing your time when dealing with multiple urgent tasks simultaneously? Okay, normally when you're an executive assistant, there are other admin people who volunteer to take different things off of your plate. Okay, So from filing to covering your phones, uh, setting up a meeting for you, they will offer to do those things for you. Let's see. So as an executive assistant, you should not be running around with your head like a chicken with your head cut off. That is not the executive assistant's role, because her role is to be the eyes and the ears of the executive. And normally, she's fielding calls from the chairman. She's fielding questions from board members and people like that. She is not dealing with customer service issues, supervisor issues, management issues. That's not sales. That's not what she's doing. Okay. Not at all. Helping the executive to get information that the board has requested. That's what she's doing. Okay. Um, again, I just really feel like these guys don't know what an executive does and what an executive assistant does. How do you anticipate the needs of an executive? Um, instead of just responding to an upper level executive's needs, a good executive assistant reacts to those needs before they are even vocalized. Okay, so if you remember in The Devil Wears Prada, when they were at the park doing the shooting and a photo shoot, and Miranda turned to Andrea and she was saying, book this, that, and the third with my husband. She was like, already done. And she said, and send mine. She said, oh, I already sent your outfit over to blah, 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 you know? So that would be an example of that. I don't have any kind of experience with that because I never supported a fashion person. So, yeah. But it's saying, my goal is to stay one step ahead at all times and remain involved in the changing needs of executives and the entire business. I use my own intuition and experience to determine what an executive needs to know and what is just noise. Not a good answer. This is not good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another one. Hold on. I really don't like that virtual interview. This was 7 executive assistant interview questions and answers. Ugh, horrible. Horrible. Okay. Why are you applying for the executive assistant role? I chose to become an executive assistant because I thought my skill set would be a great fit for the position. I enjoy organizing, setting up events or meetings, and aiding those who need my help. I hope to continue applying my skills to this important position, supporting one of your executives. How did I first get in this? I tell you, this is how I got an executive assistant role. I started out as office manager working at my dad's shop. When I got into vocational office education, instead of my teacher sending me to NASA to work, she sent me to work at a bank as a PBX operator. That way I'd be hidden. So that's how that happened. I was in the back. And then the next job that I got was actually a cashier at Sam's Club, which paid way more than the bank paid. So what else happened? Then I got pregnant and had Jonathan. So then I needed to make some money. And what happened? I went back to Sam's after I had Jonathan. I worked a telemarketing job with Julie Boone. And I never picked up my last check with them. I have left so many checks everywhere of payroll where I just never picked up that check because something happened and I just had to move on. And those companies never called me to say, come and pick up your check, because it's Texas, where, you know what they say, you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. That was in Houston, Texas. Okay, so let's move on. How did I get into being an executive assistant? So I tried everything, y'all. I applied at daycares, I applied at fast food restaurants, I applied as a letter carrier, not a letter carrier, but the people with the newspapers, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, earlier, 1 o'clock in the morning to go and get the newspapers for my route, to driving at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, delivering newspapers, for $100 a week. Not being reimbursed for gas. No benefits. You want to know why newspapers are gone? That's why. And I'm going to tell you, the people that worked at the Houston Post and the Houston, racist. When I was at Houston Baptist University, my English professor, she was a previous executive at the Houston Post. Racist lady. And I imagine she had to be that way. Again, Texas. Let me tell you. So I signed up. My first secretarial job was working for Dolores Jackson. I met her through church. Her cousin was the pastor of the church. And I let them know that I was looking for a job, and that I graduated vocational office education. And so she hired me to work temporarily for the lady who was already in her office, who was going on vacation or needed surgery or something like that. And so I started working there, and the lady never came back from vacation. So I kept the job, and then until Dolores decided to shut everything down, and she referred me for a job with the Catholic Church, because again, in the job in adult literacy, I visited a lot of churches. Let me tell you something, y'all, I did a lot. And I drugged my little raggedy children with me the whole time, working. I was so tired. So I worked for the Catholic Church for Charlotte Davis, and met Sister Grace. I really feel like Sister Grace is my guardian angel. She's awesome. So the nuns really loved me and really supported me a lot. And I got deputized with Harris County. to do voter registration, and I met a lot of senators and congressmen and people like that. And so anyway, while I was working for the Catholic Church, um, I got a job offer because like I said, I met a lot of people, and I got a job offer from Coopers and Librarian, and at the time I was making $9.19, working for the Catholic Church as an executive assistant supporting a director, and the job that I got offered at Coopers and Librarian was for $27 an hour. And around that same time, I had been running into Matthew Knowles, and he wanted me to work as an office manager for him. He just blew up my pager at the time, and I would call him back, and when I would hear his voice, I click, because I just felt like the music industry is the devil. So, and I think I was right. And I did, eventually just go to see what they were talking about. And when I went to see what they were talking about, I mean, they were offering me jobs making $8 an hour. This is like less than the Catholic Church. And at the time, I was making, $30 an hour working at Coopers and Librarian, and I just thought, Black people, they suck. So while I was at Coopers, they merged with Price Waterhouse. And so I moved over, with the merger. And then from there, Butt Consultants, from there, Mellon Bank, Goodrich Aerostructures, to, that's just how it just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. College classes, boys steadily getting older, 9/11 happened, all of that. And I was an executive assistant at that time. I took my experience overseas as an administrative specialist, and yeah, here I am. So that's why I decided to do CYA Administrative Services, because I have so much experience in the administrative field, and I want to be able to leverage that experience to help others as well as help myself. I hope that makes sense. I'm long and I've got to go, so if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.